What's wrong, guys?
Of life, I love
Um,
food. Yeah.
that was so cute.
That was adorable.
Mhm.
Damn. Okay. Nari, do you want to do an introduction?
Okay. Hi, my name is Nari. I'm very cold, that's why I have this blanket. I am pansexual. Um, I'm non-binary, so she, her, he, they, I don't care. Just don't overly use the term she on me. I hate that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, my TikTok is my dude what, but the what is spelled with the U.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So just to start, I think that we had like an initial question. It was just like what was it like when you came out and like how was that experience for you?
Should I start since
Tucker.
I did the introductions? Or
Oh
Tucker, you want
yeah.
to go? There you go. You go. You go. You go.
Tucker, you go.
You
Tucker,
go.
you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to hear you talk.
Okay, let's see. I I think I've had like I want to say I've had like multiple coming outs, and I'll say that just because like as a kid, for me, being in elementary school, I'll say as early as what kindergarten or first grade, I was aware that I liked guys, but I didn't know what it was called. I just thought it was like normal, but I don't know. I was quickly made aware that it wasn't normal. Then, in middle school, seventh or eighth grade, I was like, oh yeah, I'm bi, and I had a best friend at the time that I told that I was bi, and then in ninth grade, some people I would tell I was bi, some people I would tell I was straight, and it was just really weird. Um, and then like I made this promise to myself, when like in ninth grade, my freshman year of high school, and I was just like, if I ever change schools or switch schools, I promise to always be honest with myself. And like lo and behold, I ended up changing schools sophomore year, so I had to like keep that promise, which was kind of difficult. Not It was kind of difficult, and I say that only because it was like I was in area full of like white
We're on a
people, but
podcast.
I was
If you
just
want to join, you can head over to
I had a
Twitch.
new identity, so I kind of had to just try my best to take
Sorry.
advantage of it, which I did. So like the way I used to like introduce myself, it would be like, "Hi, I'm Tucker. I'm gay," and it was like really out there. Like it was like, "Hi, I'm Tucker. I'm gay," and it was hard. But after I got close to like 10 people, I didn't care anymore. And I was like, okay, everybody seems pretty cool for the most part. So that was that. And I had been out since then. And then the last and final time where I came completely out to my family was, I think I was like outed by my god brother who told my god dad, who told my dad, who thought my mom knew. And it was just really fucking messy. That was like summer 2013. And it was so bad to the point where like my mom wasn't accepting, but like my everybody else in my family was. And they were like, "How did you not know?" And then they're like, my mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you out of school," and blah 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 blah. And it was just weird. But I've had like several coming outs. But I'm here now, and I'm pretty much okay. I love life when it's not kicking our asses as Black people. But yeah, that's my coming out.
Gene, you want to go? Oh, wait.
All right. So
Gene,
you
you want
want
to
to talk?
go since you're on time
Oh, all
strain?
right. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
yeah, Gene.
I'll go ahead. My coming out was kind of like, I guess I understand what you mean, like phases, because like I had a little bit of phases too. I started with like my close group of friends first, because they in high school were always like kind of like the queer gay group that always had like people who were either like non-binary or transgendered or gay. So that was something like okay, I'd hung around them, and I would be like, I guess bi-curious is the word, and just talk about it, but never acted on anything. And then that just is how I kind of lived my life. Just kind of like if you asked me, then I would tell you, but I was never like really out. And then I came out to my parents in like college freshman year, but it was a little bit rough just because like I was in a really abusive friendship at the time. And so they fixated that my like queerness with her. And since she was such a negative force in my life, which like I can admit to, she was like terrible. But since that was associated with my sexuality, they didn't accept my sexuality, and it was kind of like a change or don't live that kind of life. And I made the stupid decision of siding with a girl because stupid whatever crap happens, and then eventually, like, I came back to my parents once I got out of that friendship, and we still talk about it, but we're not like they know I'm gay, but we don't talk about it, and that's how my family is. They know I make those comments, I make those references, but everyone kind of like, oh, haha, pushes to the side. Versus where I have friendships, I'm like fully out. I don't care. I talk openly about it. So that's like my kind of coming out and what I live like now with it. It's fun. I like the balance because I don't want to. It's picking a battle, Choose your fights for me.
Hello.
Gina, you want to go next?
Hello,
All
friends.
right.
So like, I always knew it's weird because like I think when I was young, I had like an infatuation with women, but it wasn't like an attraction. It was more so just like if I saw like Britney Spears and Beyonce on TV, I was infatuated with them because they were like magical to me. Um, but when I don't think I really was ever attracted to them, I saw them more as just art, you know. I mean, they are art, you know. And then as I got older, puberty and hormones kicking, I realized, okay, like guys, and people in my school treated gay people like a spectacle, and I used to care so much because my dad always made me feel like I had to care. Well, not even my dad, my mom and my dad, because they both come from big families. My mom is one of 10 kids. My dad is one of 15 kids. They made it always seem like I had to care about everyone else's opinion. And then like one day I was just like, wait, I don't have to give a fuck. And then I just became I was very unapologetically myself. Unfortunately, I had to teach myself how I had to unshelter myself because again, military parent, so I was under very strict rules and everything. Unshelter myself from that lifestyle. Teach myself how to verbally defend myself in an argument, not just physically, because I was already 6'2", so no one wasn't gonna like come up and hit me or anything because I tower over them, you know. And then I think around like junior high was when I finally just got the hang of just like the effortless, just like annihilation of people, just not giving a fuck. And then by high school, it was just like, people just stopped trying me because it wasn't even like the sassy gay person. It's just more so like you can come at him if you want to. It's not going to end well, And it's just like I learned to just like no, it's sad to say I never really had a support system. I had to be my own support system, and everything I've done from here to now in terms of my own developments of sexuality, my just studying, understanding the LGBT plus community has been through more so through just observation, less through interaction and thought and reason and logic, just through pure observation. Lots of opinions, lots of realizations, but like I made it, and I still don't give a fuck.
Nari, you want to go?
Yeah, Ari.
Nari, you want to go?
Yeah, sorry. So I grew up in a very Christian household. I think I finally realized I liked women in third grade because I would go to church and them church ladies in them dresses, I'd just be like, whoo, whoo. I couldn't help it. Ah. So when I like finally realized that I like women, that whole like Christianity, not knocking anybody if they're Christian, but for me, they made it to a point where when I knew I liked women, I thought I had a disease. I thought I was gonna die, and they told me I was gonna rot in hell. So I remember in third grade crying myself to sleep because I couldn't tell anybody because I was so afraid of if I told anybody, then like boom, I would burst into flame and like go to hell. So I don't think I finally came out to my family until high school when I was dating this white girl. And I think my dad's side of the family, they overheard me talking about her. So my dad's side is Caribbean and my mom's side is heavily Christian. So when my Caribbean family found out that I liked girls, they threatened to shoot me. We had a full out like brawl that day. Like they honestly tried to kill me. And like my grandma on my dad's side, she threatened to like bring me back to Jamaica. And she was like, I'm gonna tell our Jamaican family so that they can all stone you to death. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So my dad's side, they all threatened to kill me. They disowned me. My mom's side, uh, majority of them still don't know to this day. They all thought they could pray the gay away. So like they tried it. And then when I'm still gay to this day, they all disowned me. So yeah, a lot of people either trying to kill me or just disowning me. So my coming out story wasn't good. Like there's still family members who don't know, and at this point, I don't even feel like telling them. So there's that. And as far as the younger generation, I just so like a few of you guys know, I just kidnapped a few of my cousins a couple of days ago just to like talk to them, just because like their parents don't like me, so I never get to see them. And I had to just like remember so many lies that like their parents were telling them about me just because I was gay, and it it's not really a good like coming out story, but I'm still here.
Santos? Wait, did Santos go already?
No, she didn't. Can she talk? Can we hear her talk?
Hold up. Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you,
Yeah.
Santos.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, my curiosity of like my sexual preference started with my mom because my mom thought I was gay really early in my life, and I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. So, I started. No, I didn't really know. I didn't want to know for some reason about sex or anything that included boys and girls together. And my mom started talking about like girl on girl. I'm like, huh? And it was because how I dressed. I was very tomboyish, boys all the time, like basketball. I played a lot of basketball, and like that thought, like I didn't even know. So that kind of was like in the back of my head all the time. And it wasn't hard to tell my mom because she kind of already knew. Like, it's like she used to actually set up dates for me with guys, and it was weird. And I was like, okay. And they always end up being very weird. And like, I remember one time my mom had me, like, she set up this date with this guy, and he was drunk. And we went to movies, and it was just so awkward. And I had to like walk away. It was so bad. But then I think my first experience was when I was like 17, 18, because I'm um not the type to search, or I didn't have game. That's how I'm just gonna put it out there. I didn't have game or know how to talk to guys like what I'm doing right now. I can't talk. I can't. But this is girl, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Like I could do this. So from there, um, for my mom was very easy because after I said it, my sister said it. My sister said she was bi, and my other sister said she was bi. So it was very. I'm very thankful that I don't have like a judgmental mom because my mom was the one who taught me not to judge anybody by their sex preference, but in a way she wanted me to not be that in a weird way. But she spoke to me about it, and she said that it's more about how she grew up and wanting to have that girl, like that girl model, that girl that gets married with the guy, and that society thing that everybody knows, marriage between a guy and a woman and a man. So she kind of said sorry, I don't know if you guys don't know about Caribbean parents, but they kind of say sorry in a weird kind of way. But she actually taught me not to judge anybody by their sex preference or who they identify as. Um, Growing up, I was always told that I was very manly, since now like I'm kind of like girlyish because I kind of slither myself into whoever I want to be. One day I want to do whatever. If I want to wear some sweatpants and big shirts, whoever they, I, I don't care. I don't
Mhm.
care what people say, and that's about it. I guess I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry if that made sense. I don't know if that made sense, but yeah, it wasn't that hard um, coming out to my mom, and my mom just told everybody else, so I didn't care what everybody else thought. I think the only one that mattered was my mom, who was always there for me. So yeah, my friends always thought I was gay, so I didn't care. They didn't care either. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing that I like thought was interesting was someone was like, who was most disappointed? Because I know you all have different backgrounds, so I'm gonna say like, who do you think in your family was like most like disappointed or most like judging when you came out?
Mi madre.
Mm,
I agree with my mother. I would say she had the most judgment, but I think it's for the same reason that Santos does. That idea of a girl like growing up, having a husband, children especially too. She's still a little bitter.
I'm sorry.
I think my dad was the most disappointed because my sister is not his biological daughter, so I'm technically his only child. And he assumed that I was never gonna have kids. He's like, oh, my grandkid, I'm never gonna have grandkids. My line's ending here. I pray. I'm so upset that God could gave me a gay son, and I'm just like, and I'm sad that I have an incompetent father. Because I don't care anymore. Again, I stopped caring at that point. But he was the most disappointed, and he's the first one to get over it because six of his sisters ganged up on him all at once, told him to stop treating your son so badly. So satisfying, very satisfying. I wasn't there for that. I didn't know what happened until like a couple years ago. But yeah.
Nice.
Um, Honestly, my adoptive parents were the only ones that didn't care. My biologicals, again, like I said, half of them tried to kill me and the other ones disowned me.
The fuck.
So yeah, yeah. So the most disappointed, I think, was my biological dad because he still talks shit about it to this day and still tries to fight me over it to this day. So I guess it was him.
Jesus Christ.
Like I said, like I said, I think my mom was a little disappointed, but guess she got over it because she just knows a lot of LG, LBGT, you know, a gay community because she does hair and she has a lot of trans people in her business and gay people and all types of people in her business. So she was like, okay, I guess I have to deal with this and be okay with it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. I find it interesting that like it's like mostly the moms. I would have thought they would have been more accepting, but I guess not. I don't know.
My mom thought I was gonna be trans.
Oh wow.
By the way, I haven't come out to my dad.
That's scary. That's scary. Do you think that like it's gonna be tough when you do, or do you think you'll also have like a similar like bad reaction?
I don't think he should say anything because he hasn't been part of my life. But that will come as soon as we have a conversation about sexuality that he doesn't want to have. So that's going to be exciting.
Hmm. Does anyone have advice for little Santos when she's coming out?
Ex-
um,
don't hope for the best.
Yeah.
just make sure that like you know how to rebuttal because one
Yeah.
thing I will say
I mean,
is that
I don't really care in a sense because I'm an adult and, you know, I live my life without him,
Mhm.
and I'm happy. So
Bring a weapon.
Bring a weapon.
no.
Make sure thy hands are ready to be thrown, just in case.
Make sure, because men are crazy.
Okay, guys. So now y'all can everyone have their like little like backstory. Y'all can unmute each other and have a normal conversation now.
Talk like we're friends. What do you mean?
I'm gonna
No,
say
I'm saying
for the sake of it being overclogged with our voices.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I understand, but y'all can have a normal conversation now because I want to hear more, and I
Yeah,
want to hear more of your input.
yeah.
So everyone can just start talking. Just ask another question. Next question, Andre.
All right. Yeah, like I'd like to hear like y'all's like opinions and like feelings on this stuff because there's a lot of different stuff. The next question is how do you feel about black people's treatment towards the gay community and where do you think it stems from and are there ways we can combat it? It's like kind of a lot
Hmm.
in a single question.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
That's a
that has a
lot.
lot of history layers to it as
Yeah,
well, I
everybody
think.
has layers to this
And
one. We all are
Yeah.
experts on this.
Okay. All right.
you
Um,
can,
Can I go first on this one?
you
Yeah,
can
let's
CD
see.
has a lot on.
I think you
Yeah,
know the
CD has a
best.
lot on this one.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
So I will say originally in certain parts, not all, but certain parts of the African region, homosexuality was completely a normal part of African culture in terms of like certain ethnic groups, depending on what tribe you go to, it was normalized. The hatred towards the LGBT community now stems specifically from colonization because when the Europeans came in and they shoved Christianity down everyone's throats, they were like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And they're still doing it to this day with missionaries going down in Africa. So it's like there's a whole deep-rooted issue there. Fast forward to modern day, in terms of just like the modern day Black people's treatment of it. Personally, because I made a video about this because I was like stuck at a crossroads almost. Oh, like, because it's like on one end, it's it's like it's weird because you're stuck in this little crossroads where it's like, well, one group of people they'll save you from the racist white man, but they might beat you up if you're gay or trans, and the other group of people, yeah, they'll keep you from getting like beaten up if you're gay or trans, but they'll tell you in a hot second that your skin color is just a preference. So it's just the most aggravating thing on earth because like it's literally just a matter of like, okay, who's less likely to discriminate against me today? Jumping between the gay community and the Black community, just hopping back and forth. It's the most aggravating thing on earth, you know? But like, you try. You just smile through the pain. You try. Yeah.
That's all you can do. And like just to add to the history part, that's a part of a mass world colorism thing. Like LGBT lifestyles were in like, oh, you cannot hear me? Oh, can you hear me now? Because I'm like right up to the mic. But like LGBT lifestyles were very common in a lot of brown communities, like including like India, Eastern Asia, like even Israel. Like those communities had people who were LGBT living their life generally, and it was kind of this white colonialism concept to villainize that and make it demonized. And so that just continued on throughout the world. Everyone saw that the people in power hated the LGBT people, and it just continued on. And it's also, especially now, I feel like associated with masculinity, and that's why there's so much like aggression towards, especially trans women of color in the Black community. There's so much violence against them, and I think it's like just they threaten so much masculinity that is just comes out as attacking them, which is disgusting and terribleness. The world's not nice.
I want to
Ours is
interject too now.
go
My
for it.
turn. Hi. I didn't get to hear CD's part because my thing kind of kicked me out. Either way, like there's a lot of stuff that I'm finding out, especially as far as biblical context goes, just because a lot of history, unfortunately, is tied with religion for multiple reasons. Obviously, for control, but you know,
Mhm.
like we were all saying, in a lot of these cultures, homosexuality, which was not even called homosexuality, but homosexuality was very prevalent in a lot of these cultures, in native culture, all of these different things. I'm not sure why they found it threatening because unironically, a lot of these colonial cultures have this unnatural obsession with boys, little boys. It doesn't make sense to me. It's really weird. And then on top of that,
Mhm.
it also reflects in a lot of the European art. Like if you really look at a lot of the statues, you'll always notice like little kids at the feet of naked men. It doesn't make sense, but today I saw a TikTok that was like, "Oh, homosexuality was never a word in the Bible." So I'm like, "What the f word does that mean?" So I'm looking it up, and obviously, to anyone's surprise, during translations, biblical texts and their translations, obviously we have so many different texts, like King James Version, NIV version, all of these different versions. When it was translated, I found out, that there's this word, I think a Roman word that translates to little boys. It doesn't translate to homosexuality, because homosexuality was not even a word that was invented until the 1800s by, if I'm not mistaken, it was invented by the Germans. However, according to the research, the word was not put into the Bible, at least the German Bible, until the 1980s. In the 1980s, that happened because Germany could not afford a retranslation. So the United States ended up footing that bill, which is why we have what we have today. But prior to that, that word was not put into the Bible until 1946, which is really weird because they used religion again to control people, mainly Black people or descendants of Africans, in order to get them to do the will of the white man, or the Lord's will, and to also keep them docile, which is why a lot of people have that like turn the other cheek attitude, especially because of religion.
Yeah.
And then when you add like for Caribbean, like the reason like Caribbeans are sometimes really violently homophobic, especially Jamaicans and whatnot, it's because like buck breaking was a thing, or a lot of
Oh yeah, would you just
non-consensual
explain what
homosexual.
buck breaking was for the people who
Yeah,
don't
so
know?
like so buck breaking is like essentially it's really dehumanizing. You have a male that's being fucked either by the slave master, or you have the slave master giving you a directive to do homoerotic acts, or sometimes even acts that are dehumanizing to you and your mother. So you're having sexual relations with family members, mainly your mother, to dehumanize you and make you look lesser than. And
Yeah.
so you have all of these non-consensual interactions with homosexuality or homoeroticism. You get the reaction that you get. Like you learn it's self-hate. That's all it is. It's self-hate that is internalized, and then you just redistribute it. And so when you add religion into it, and then you add indoctrination, you get what you get. But homosexuality was not a thing. It was a thing in the Bible, but it was not frowned upon. In fact, a lot of the like atrocities in the Bible come from white men. Like the fact that white men were capable of raping divine creatures, again, men, like that's where all of this negative connotation comes from. But they repurposed the Bible, added onto it, and subtracted. And you obviously, people don't do research, which I mean, I get why, because some of the information just is not available. You get what you get, and by the time stories get down to the next generation, they change, they're watered down. So that's why you have what you have today, because of white men and religion and Catholicism. And essentially, not to disparage anybody's religion, but like Christianity and like Catholicism are copycat religions. They're not like they're
Yeah.
not solidified religions. I'm sorry to say it, but like they're not.
Yo,
I mean, I don't
so
want to be rude.
Sim in the chat said slavery produced a lot of insecurities for Black people. One thing Black men struggle with is security and masculinity. It causes
Yeah.
overcompensation. That mixed with the Christian/American description of masculinity created a lot of the issues we have today.
Why do you think white men get to be quirky but Black men don't? Like, think about it. Like, really
It's
think
very
about it.
true.
Like,
I can. Oh, go on. Go on.
oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's why I said for me coming out, I think coming out in a white neighborhood was so much easier than coming out in a Black neighborhood. It's just like they didn't see it as like an abnormality. Not to say that white people can be ruthless, but like I guess in that time where it was still like fresh, but like it was starting to just become a thing. Like it was just considered a quirk. Like it wasn't something that defined me. It was just an aspect to my like personality, or to my being, I guess you could say.
You're very correct. Like it's weird because sometimes it's like I find myself, like I said, when you have to code switch through every single ethnic group or people you interact with on a regular, ooh, I'm wavy, on a regular basis. Like sometimes it is easy to talk to white people about the gay life. However, when it comes to being Black and gay, it's a whole different ball game, And like and it's weird because when I was growing up, it's funny that I look back now. Even when I was growing up, I wasn't even necessarily quirky. Like it was more so just like I loved studying history. I was an animator. Nothing I did was obnoxiously gay. I was nothing about me was ever flamboyantly, stereotypically gay, other than maybe my voice being high, But like you can get down here if it needs to be, And it's like in like how they said with the signature masculinity, like I cannot tell my dad. My dad threw me into Taekwondo because every boy should play a sport at least once in their life, which is complete and utter bullshit because I was like, I hated sports. I honest to God did, and it, and it sucks when I think about it because like when I look back, it's like one reason no one wanted to fuck with me because I'm a 6'2" black belt in Taekwondo walking around the school. Of course you're not going to touch me, but like I myself am not a masculine person in terms of traditional masculinity, and it's unfortunate because going back to buck breaking, traditional. Going back to buck breaking, even the media hypersexualizes black men to a horribly obnoxious context. I took a. I'm sorry, I'm studying. I get raging about this. I took a class in gender studies and LGBT sociology last semester, and literally we had a whole. I had to do a project on pornography. We had to do an entire section over why is it that black men are always portrayed as these big, muscular Tyrone with the do-rags and shit. I cannot tell you, like, one of my biggest qualms with hanging around with gay white men is they're just like, so how big are you? And I'm just like, I don't know. Bring my ancestors back and I'll tell you, So it's I'm very, especially when I'm around gay white men, I have a lot of history humor. For example, this one guy was like, well, I wasn't Roman. We were S whatever the ethnic group was. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Us black people, we can't tell the difference. You're just white to us. Like we can't. I'm sorry. We don't. You're just white to us. I don't care. Like it doesn't matter to me what people did. What you're white, white privilege. I don't give a fuck. Bring me my culture back. So it's just like, there's so much frustration in there. It just gets me enraged thinking about it. But I will say, what I do try to avoid is I try to not to idolize the white gay community too much. Because unfortunately, a lot of the trauma that comes with being black and gay, people idolize let's date a white guy. I've explained this cycle several times. The trauma from the white people cause trauma to our parents. Our parents, as a result, are hella strict with us because they don't want us to get killed. And then we are mad at our parents, so we go to the white people, and then the cycle continues. Because just like the same people who traumatized their parents, we're dating them now. So it's just like, frustration.
That was my question. Like when it comes to, because as a straight guy, I have to worry about if I identify my race, I have to worry about a woman fetishizing me because I'm black. So for my two gay black men, are you guys like constantly worrying about that? Like somebody fetishizing you, like Tucker. I know the city you used to Tucker. Do you worry about that? Like a white man fetishizing you for being black? Like is there a constant thing in the back of your head? Because I know as a straight man, I do when it comes out me dating outside my race. So do you have any problem?
I know that it is an issue, but do I worry about it? No. Has it happened to me? Yes, it has happened to me. But the thing is, it happens to me in the States, and when I'm talking to people that are not from the States, it can definitely be misinterpreted as being fetishized, or it can be fetishization. However, for the most part, I tend to get lucky and I tend to attract open-minded individuals. But however, after all of this pandemic stuff, like I don't know what switch flipped in my head, but for me now it's just like I don't want to be with anybody that's not black right now, just because. Yeah. And I was talking to somebody who was, I was talking to somebody about this, I think a day or two ago. And it's just the fact that, I don't know, it's just the fact that like, I have to explain myself a lot. I have to worry about hiding an aspect of my personality a lot, which I shouldn't have to, but I do. It's just the fact of the matter. I have to worry about somebody saying out of pocket shit, even though they claim to be a liberal. I have to worry about too much. I have to worry about relatability. I have to worry about shit that I just don't feel like worrying about. And then on top of that, I think what I really needed in my life was constantly seeing negative representation of white men in the media, especially with all of this going on, whether it be the president and the cops. Like, it's honestly, revolting now to me to like see myself with a white person. And it's not to sound ignorant. This is just
Yeah.
it's just one of those
Political
prejudices or
choice.
biases. Yeah, it's one of those biases that is very required and very necessary in today's
Hmm.
times,
Yeah.
in my opinion, for me as a gay black male, as a form of protection and layering. Just because to me, sometimes white people can be very devious and mischievous at heart. And I don't want to be with somebody that I cannot trust or have to worry about airing me out, for my intimate secrets that we shared at one point in time, or just the historical context. It just doesn't feel right. The closer I connect with myself and I just see history and I see what's happening in the present, it does
Hmm.
not feel right in my spirit to sit there and say like I want to be with a white man with my whole chest. The attraction is there. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I'm not attracted to white men. Like I'm not gonna lie. The attraction is still there. The desire to be with them is not. Like I just
Yeah.
can't bring myself to it. It doesn't feel right anymore. Like it just doesn't feel right.
Okay. So who has something to say?
Yeah, I was
CD,
gonna
were you
say,
gonna say
I was
something?
gonna
Do you
tie it
mind if I?
into.
Yeah, I
I
think
was actually
Jane
about
had
to.
something she wanted to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
Wanna
to
go after
go, so I
G?
just wanted to add it
Oh,
real quick, like before I head
Oh,
out.
okay.
But because you had said like to the two men of the group, and I just wanted to like add in that for women who are black,
Oh
we
yeah,
have
you can
also
definitely, most definitely.
a fetish, but it's like because our fetishization comes also with violence. I think like not to be rude, but the black man stereotype is they have a big dick, so that has some. It's a compliment in most situations. I'm not saying it can't not be. It can turn very violent and it can turn very dangerous. But overall, especially in media, that's a positive thing to portray. Versus for like black women, for me there's a huge fear that I'll be singled out for my blackness, and it will be
Hmm.
used either to make me like a manipulation tactic, and so they will like try to manipulate my mind and make me weaker for feeling black, like calling what frick Doja Cat letting her boyfriend call her the N word. Like that's something that I would think I've been manipulated into thinking that's okay. That's my fear, that they will be able to use their oppressive power as a white person or any real ethnicity, but especially with white, they will try to like undermine subconsciously my belief in myself and my ability to be a
Hmm.
strong black
Yeah.
woman in that. And then additionally, there's just violence of just like against women in general who are black, just like the rape of black women and the attacks against black women, especially trans women, is just so prolific. So though black men have a stereotype that's sexualization and fetishization, we have those same fetishizations, but they're turned violent. We're often hated for our sexuality and demonized for our sexuality. And I mean, like, even the DSL, that's like just a fucking gross ass thing. And you're using us for that act. Like, it's not a positive act. That's still an act of like derogatory for most women, and control. It's a man having control over a woman usually as well. So it's like, it's just gross and dangerous and I hate it. But I love you
It is.
guys and I'm going to leave right now. But thank you
All
for
right.
having me a part of this,
Bye.
y'all.
Thanks for coming,
Bye.
Gene.
Yeah.
bye,
I was
Gene.
gonna segue
Yeah.
because like I was gonna mention to add on to that, Mitchell. So in my experience with in terms of Latinos, so I
Hmm.
hear this response a lot when people are saying from the preference gays. They're always like a default they'll say is like, well, it's like, oh, I'm not racist. I like Latina men. They always go Latino men. They always go for that's like their middle ground, because it's a weird way of saying like it's like they like the light skinned black boys. They like the darker skinned Asian boys. The
The
racially
acceptable black.
like they in that
Yeah.
field. Like the default for them is I like Latina men. I like Arabic men, basically brown skinned men. Who are similar to Santos's or your particular skin tone. A lot
Yeah.
of people use that as a default, right? Because they
Hmm.
think that as they have this exotic, racially ambiguous type person, then they're free from that stereotype. So it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit irking to see when people are like, but I love Latina. I was like, no, you don't. They always try to emphasize the accent because they try to make themselves seem cultured, you know?
Yeah.
In
Like
my
Yeah.
case,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's very like it's
I definitely could. I definitely
Yeah.
could
Santos.
relate to that fetishized exotic,
Hmm.
you know, like stereotype because like I said, I never knew how to I didn't know how to get who I wanted because what I knew was a relationship. Somebody says, "Hey, you want to go out?" and I would say, yeah, and then you will do couple things. I really didn't understand relationships until I actually got into one that I wanted to be in, you know. And a lot that's why I work so hard to get rid of my accent, because I just wanted just to say black and not be, oh, you're Dominican, oh, you're Haitian, wow, oh,
Yeah.
you look so exotic.
Hmm.
And it just happens so many times, even um even dating a white passing Dominican guy, and it just felt so wrong because he used to really point out my features and all the things that were African, and it's just like, why is it so important to you? You know what I mean? And I remember I dated this Jewish girl, and it felt so weird because like it was in a period where BLM was a thing. It was a movement, and we will go to the protests, and she would compare and contrast like what she goes through in being gay and non-binary to being black, and I was just like, huh, like I don't understand this.
Hmm.
Please. It's just like, and I couldn't be with somebody like that because it was more like, oh, I could be here because I'm being suppressed, and I understand how you feel or how black people feel everywhere, and I'm like, it's not
Not the
no.
same.
It's not the
It's like
same.
me
It's not
saying
the
it's
same.
like me saying going to a woman and saying, "Oh, I know what it's like to be a woman because I've been oppressed as a black man." That makes sense. It's different. It's a different type of oppression. I get oppressed as a black man, not as a woman. I can't be going around saying the same thing as like comparing myself to a gay man because I really don't know what it's like. I
And
Oh,
it
go
was
ahead,
like
Santos.
weird.
yeah, keep going.
It was like weird to like that's why I was like disliking men, and I was like, this is weird. I'm gonna just go and see what I find. Let me go. And like girls are more like women are more understanding and loving, but in a sense, if it's another race,
You're
they
gonna mute yourself.
still see you as, oh, you still exotic because you're light skinned, but your hair is different and your face is different. And it just made me so angry sometimes because they wouldn't see the person I am. They wouldn't want to date the person I am, but how I look, you know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about that.
I want to go off of what Jean was saying. Being fetishized as a black woman, as someone who is the big gay, I have dated my fair share of white women and white men. So I've seen both sides. And let me just say, oh God, I can't tell
Someone
you
said they
how many
like your
times,
aesthetic.
huh?
Someone said they like your aesthetic.
Oh, thank you, baby.
No,
Um,
no, no,
when I,
the appropriators.
oh, oh God. It's just like every time I like dated like a white person, it's always, oh, my dark ebony chocolate queen, oh my God. And I'm like, first off, I'm not even dark. I'm not. Oh, don't call me that. And like they would think that's a compliment. And I
Yeah.
went so many times, because I grew up around all white people. My adoptive parents are white, so they stuck me in white schools. And so many times I get that whole, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. I'm like, what kind of backhand
Mm.
comment is that? And that whole DSL, I can't tell you how many times I
Mhm.
had that. My lips aren't even that big to begin with, but around white people, my lips are
Yeah, I
huge.
used to
So all
get
the time.
that a lot.
And then, like, I would, as a child, as a third grader, and I'm sitting here in third grade putting on lip gloss, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got DSL lips. Oh, who are you trying to get ready for? Oh, who are you gonna meet behind the bleachers?" And I'm sitting here like,
I
"What?
stop.
What are you talking about? Like, I'm in the third
That's
grade. What are you talking about?"
Mhm.
So it's
yeah.
like it's kind of hard it's kind of hard for me now to see myself with a white person, just because every experience I've had has been traumatic.
Mhm.
And like,
I knew for me
just
when this white, oh my bad, I
man,
didn't know to cut you off. I told this white
it's
boy
okay.
free Palestine, and he said Palestine's free. Israel. I was like, oh fuck, I know this is going. Then where he was getting me
Oh
Chipotle,
no.
he was getting me Chipotle one day, and I was home, but he was in the store. So he was like something 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 black. He was like, "What's up, Blackie?" And I was like, "Do not ever fucking call me that ever again." And they was so out of pocket to the point where the people in the store was looking at him like he was crazy. I'm like, white people are out of touch, out
That's
of
messed
touch.
Man.
up.
Like
I
Yeah,
I
I
will also oh, go on, Santos.
no no, go ahead,
Uh, I
Lois.
will also
My
say this. Like it's weird. I hate to say this. I've also been fetishized. Not fetishized. I won't say fetishized. I've gotten fetishized isn't the right word. I will say I've had in the same context that sometimes that some white men or just non-black people fetishize me. I've received the same treatment from black men. And what I mean by that is it's there when I meet there's you can tell when someone is not confident in their blackness or just their overall gayness and they
mhm
meet someone who is and you can
mhm
tell they're kind of like
mhm
leaning on you and depending on you to help them
yeah
like I had someone the
mhm
other day. He chased like when I say he chased me, like I rejected this dude a year ago, and he found me on every single dating app since then. And I finally just gave him a chance, and we met, and it was cool. But I could tell my issue was like you are infatuated with me. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me.
mhm
You don't know my likes, my dislikes, my anything. But you're
right
infatuated with me, and I hate that because it's like and I get it though, because he was told in his dating right, he was like, he is a black man who was told by other black men that I don't date black men. And I hated to hear him say that. I was so heartbroken, you know? And it sucks 'cause, like at the same time, it was like I felt so bad for him, but I was like, I can't be that person because like I get it. I
mhm
understand why you're attracted to me, but you're not attracted to me for the right reasons. I'm not like that's not what I'm here for.
right.
Mhm.
I
Someone in the
definitely
chat. Oh,
understand.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, someone in the
I just said
chat
I
said, "Do
understand.
y'all believe that gay white men culturally appropriate more than white women do?"
they white, they cultural appropriate.
Ooh, child. Ooh,
Did you
Chile.
just
This is
assume appropriation's gender?
I'm gonna
dude.
tell you, like from the South, when I'm in Louisiana and I'm seeing all my babies and they just rocking their stuff, I can't tell you how many times I seen a white man and they come up to me or come up to my homegirls and try to be like, "Oh, I like the way you." And I'm like, what is this? What are you doing? What is this? Mm. And
All
they're like,
appropriators are
I
the
like
same.
how you
It's
do this.
the only
Say,
yeah, all appropriators are the same. The only difference is, who has the power to inflict the most harm, and that would be white people.
it's the thing.
Man,
The amount of gay white men that I've heard say, "I have an inner sassy black woman inside of me."
I
I'm
hate it
like,
when they say that. I hate
can
it
you
when no, you
not
This
say
don't. No,
that
you
is
to me?
don't.
this
Can
is
you please no?
wrong.
Can you not just keep
Well,
walking?
I need
Don't
that
tell
inner
me.
black sass woman to come out to these marches and open her purse, cause honey,
Sad.
I need you to come march
Right.
with us and come stop them from killing us then, since you got an inner black woman in you. I
Exactly.
need you to stop all the oppression in the world. When you see me getting followed in the store, I need you to come help me since you got an inner black
Oh my
woman
god.
in you.
Shit pisses.
I
But again, it's
Cha.
so hard. Okay, let me just put my input as a straight guy. But yeah, it's dating outside your race can be so hard. It really is. It's like just the amount of effort and time you got to put into it because you have to explain shit. You have to educate people. It's like I'm not. It's the thing. I'm not your teacher. It's like I'm okay with dating outside my race.
right.
I've done it before, but with everything that you said, Tucker, with everything going on right now, dating it has become a political choice. Me dating a black woman or marrying a black woman has become. I love black women, but it has become my safe space. I feel comfortable. I feel safe. I know that when I have kids with a black woman, she's gonna know how to raise them. It's because if I date no, it's honestly if I date a white woman, she probably doesn't know how to do their hair. She probably doesn't know how to raise them. She probably gonna tell them to be free or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, that's beautiful, but again, they're black kids again. Yeah, they're
And
half
let's
white, but they're
also
black.
point out, you can always tell when someone has a white mom versus a white dad.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like they're still black kids.
Yes.
You gotta understand how to raise them, because you can't raise them just like white kids. You gotta raise them differently, because everything
Mm.
everything they're gonna experience is gonna be different from your life. Like the same thing with my mom. My mom doesn't understand. She's mixed, but she's white. She's white passing. She doesn't understand what I go, and sometimes I have to explain. So I don't want to explain myself to my significant other. I just want them to know how I feel, you know? And that's the thing. And that's
Like,
why I think, hold up, keep going. Were you going to say
I
something?
don't have a prob. I don't have a problem with like in like dating outside your race, because come
Mm-hmm.
on, like I feel like, people don't even see that sometimes, and it just comes naturally. But
Yeah,
how
yeah.
much you love me as a person, how much you love who I am, because I am just not a human being in this world. I have this whole thing, this whole problem, that a world that goes against me, and it's just like a big thing. So if you are going to date outside your race, they have to be on your side and not understand you, but be educated and want to be educated, because it's just like it, I have I mean, I don't really, I did it to people, white passing and a Jewish girl, and never again, because I was like, this feels so wrong, because it's like I have to educate. I don't have to educate you. If you love me, you want to educate yourself about me and want to know who I am, and not my hair, not my color of my skin, because we all different in every type of way. Black people come in all different type of personalities, and it's just like they just look at, oh, she's black, so
It's
or
because
she,
the thing. I don't want to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
yeah, it's
It's
cool.
because
No, you're not.
being black universally, being black universally is like a political statement, but more
Yeah.
so in America, especially because, again, the foundation of America, and then the way that we operate on politics, and the way that race influences politics, like it's incredibly polarizing. Like, I can have certain conversations with, okay, I'll put it like this: I can have more open-minded conversations with people overseas, mainly in the UK, for example, or less where I have experience at in Australia. I can have conversations about race with more white men with no issue. Here, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Ironically, it's like
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
get so comfortable, or they just don't know shit. Like, people from
Mm,
outside of the country don't understand the concept of race, because it's
Yeah.
like so weird. They're
well,
like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, why is this a thing? That's how fucked up it is. Like, that's what
well,
it is.
another
But
the
like,
thing
yeah.
the
You
thing you
go.
have to remember about European countries is that all of that race theory came from them, because like the Enlightenment period is literally just a time period where Europeans made up philosophies to justify slavery. Like I literally
Yeah.
like there's a video sitting in my drafts of the dude who is German. We love Germany. Who literally made up he divided us humans into five people in like five different categories: the Mongolians, the Malayans, the Ethiopians, the Caucasians, and the Americans, the blacks, the whites, the browns, the yellows, and the reds. All right, like
Hmm.
in it's for me. Whenever I look at Europeans, I always tell people, because I made a video earlier today saying, like, just because you are in Europe, you just remember you still benefit from white privilege, because your country did all these things, and now you can just sit back in your country with your
Yeah.
culture and move on from it. All right, because you don't
Hmm.
see it, you don't see half the damage that was done. Tying into another thing, as a military, like in my hometown, I grew up in a military town. Almost every black kid, most of the black people came from the military base, So I see a lot of interracial marriages, seeing mixed babies, seeing white and Asian, black and Asian. That was normal for me. Okay, so experiencing life in Korea, hearing stories from Germany, then Mexico. I being in the military, being a military family, because my whole family is military. It really makes it hard to politicize love in the context of like, because in the military, it's like you can be racist all you want to, but at the end of the day, if a bomb goes off and your leg's blown off, that black man you hate so much will drag you to safety. So you can't be racist here.
Hmm.
Racism could cost
Yeah.
you your life, you know.
By the way,
So,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh,
Keep going,
sorry.
keep going. I know what you're talking about.
So it's like whenever I date, it's hard. It's. I'm also a teacher myself, so it's really hard for me to not go into teacher mode when I'm dating someone. It's just a habit for me.
Yeah.
it's more so I just wait for example, like when I'm dating, it's not even about like what ethnicity, because like whoever likes me, I can't control that, but I do compartmentalize their critical thinking ability. Are they willing to understand? Do they put in the effort to understand? I more care about your effort to try to understand things, because obviously not everyone grows up with the same education system that I did. Like I grew up in the state where the first 20 black slaves landed in the United States. So I have that the privilege of being able to see where my people came from in this country. Not everyone else did. I can't expect someone who grew up in Compton to understand life living in the deep South. So I just try my best to, like, if even if you don't know, you have the ability, or you will to think, to understand. So it's more so that's why I'm sapio-romantic. I care more about your intelligence than I do color or political beliefs.
Yeah,
It
same here.
becomes that because right now, like I said, dating on race. See, if I did a white person, it's not that I don't date white people. That white person will never, no matter if they're educated on my history, they
Damn.
You're
will
cutting
never
out
they
real
will
bad.
never understand. Oh, I'm cutting out. Sorry.
Like real bad. Yo, actually, I'm gonna say we
Can
have
you hear
like
me now?
one last question, and then we probably are
All
gonna
right.
come up on time. So I'm gonna ask this last question and like get y'all's final thoughts on it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, cool. So the last question is, what are some of the stereotypes that people want you to uphold since you are black and gay? And do you feel the need to stick to those stereotypes? Things like, I don't know, being like I don't even know what the stereotypes are, just like being like whatever. Like, do you
Yeah,
feel like,
Tomboy.
oh, go ahead.
for the male aspect, um, there was a time where I struggled with my masculinity and my femininity, where I was like, yo, like I'm a balanced individual. Like I'm versatile all around, whether it be my personality and my thought process and my, less sexual process, whatever the case may be. Like I am a creature that desires balance. Like I cannot function without it. Like whenever there's good, there has to be bad. But as far as sex goes, like guys want me to be hyper masculine, and sometimes even dating, I have to be the one on the top. But like there, I have very submissive tendencies, and like I like guys that are more masculine than I am, but I don't mind dating guys that have feminine tendencies at all. I used to have an issue with it, but like I'm older and I just don't care. But for me, it's like a lot of people, whether it be like white people or anybody that isn't black, they have this thing, this fixation. Gay people in general just have this fixation with hypermasculinity. Um, luckily, the older I've gotten and more dates I've gone on, it hasn't really been a thing. And I feel like the closer I get to like just not giving a shit and like I just connect with myself, the easier it has become, and like the more carefree I have been. So like to me, like if they want that, it just turns me off, and it never goes past the second or third day. Like it just doesn't happen.
I will say, whoa, my stand almost fell. For the stereotypes, for me at least, everybody expects black women to just take care of you. That's always been the thing. Is every time I date
Yeah.
somebody, they want me to be your mother. And here's the thing about me. When I was growing up with
Mhm.
my biological
That's
family,
true.
I was the man of the house. We didn't have no man of the house, so I took that role. So for me to be somebody's mother, you're gonna get a lot of tough love. If you're not bleeding or crying or dying, don't come crying to me. I don't care. And it's like, I'm that type of person where it's like, if I can do it, why can't you? And for some reason, like, people are like, no, you're supposed to be nurturing. Like, you're supposed to help people. You're supposed to hold people down. Like, I get a lot of people like saying, why don't I like lower my standards for men, because they should just be able to do what they need to do and I should just take care of them. And I'm like, yeah, you got the wrong person. I don't know who you think you're talking to. It's not me. I'm sorry. So it's like, at least for me, the stereotype of people want me to uphold is accepting everyone's bullshit and just taking care of everybody.
Right. Same with me. Like, it's always like, oh, I want you to hold me and hear what I have to say and just like be a mom, basically.
Oh,
And I always had these, like, like that one partner wanted me to be that. And I was like, no, girl, you got it wrong. Like, no. And, it's okay to have that understanding in a relationship. Like, you hear them out. But being a mom to you, like, oh, should I do this or that? Like, that's not my job to make your decisions as an adult. Like it's just so weird to me. Yeah, that happened one time because I was just like, no, I can't have this because I ain't nobody's mama. And it's like, yeah, like they want you to take care of them and like kind of like swaddle them, and it's weird. And I don't understand it like that. And I remember this guy told me, I love your voice. I love how you talk to me. And I was like, no, no,
Just no.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And you just stay quiet because they want that role as like Tabitha Brown, like
Grown
that.
ass.
Like you're like that. They want you to be Tabitha Brown. And I'm like, I'm not that. Like kind of like that. Like a mom taking care of you, swaddling you, and putting you to bed. Kind of, it's not no. That's it.
I,
That
I,
pisses me off.
I literally
I
just realized. No, like,
not.
what happened? What happened?
Oh,
Oh,
Jewel
my
left.
bad.
Oh, go on, Tucker.
I said, ironically, certain aspects of what you were saying, I look for that in guys, but not in a weird way. I look for that as far as like,
So your mama's
and
boy,
like,
Tucker. Your mama's boy.
well, I mean, I am mama's boy, so that's probably what it is. But I will say, like, as far as, and I don't want to sound like a gender, a heteronormative douchebag, but for me, at least if you're gonna make all of these demands as a male, there's just certain requirements that you have to meet. So like, I don't want to say that I'm looking for, what you were describing, Santos, is like a mammy in a man. Like, I don't want that. All I'm saying is if you
Hmm.
you have these requirements, but you have to play your part, period. So you want all of this, like there are certain aspects of attention that have to be met. There's certain boxes that just have to be checked. At least for me.
Oh, I'm still here. Oh, sorry. I forgot I was still here. I was triggered because like I literally in my comment section I get those exact comments, Santos, and like, oh CD, I love your voice. CD, could you I just want you to just talk to me all day, and I never understood that. But now that you say that, it just clicked in my because they're all white people who say that. So it just clicked in my like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I also say so. I think the stereotype that people it's weird because again it's between two worlds. Like one side is there's the stereotype of the I'll say the worldly or the alternative of the quirky black person who never gets
Hmm.
mad, and then there's the
Hmm.
stereotype of the black person that always gets mad, and I find myself not fighting. It's just that like I compartmentalizing when I bring those two sides of me out because of course we all have those sides. I mean, sometimes we have to cuss people out. Like I had to. I talked about how the Black Lives Matter protest. A bunch of black people realized, oh, we all had the last name. We're all from the chamber. And they all realized that they were all owned by the same family. Their families were all from the same plantation. And my friend, who is white, who has that last name, I was like, "Is that your?" And and he was right when he was about to make a just this is shut it. I like before you fix your mouth to make that. I'm letting you know right now. I will block you if you finish that sentence. I don't want to block you, but if you finish that sentence and block you, he's like thank you, thank you. So the teacher in me came out. So it's like I find myself weighing between those two lines, just like how angry do I want to get? How non-angry do I want to be? When do I have to be unapologetically black? When do I have to check my own people for their own ignorance? Because again, the gay black community is a whole different ball game. Because dating gay black men, not to come at you, Tucker. I had a person in the past, not even you, because like someone and that person who had rejection anxiety, and he kept saying along the lines of something that you guys
No,
said
it's
earlier.
definitely you talking.
No, this is a Sagittarius, not a Leo. Um, he said those same exact words, like you have a role, you have a part, and I'm just like, why is it that you're saying I have all these things? It seems like you handed out all these responsibilities and never told me about any of them. You know, it's just like it's
That's
like you're having all these conversations about what I should be doing, and I'm finding out that everyone knows about these responsibilities except me. Like sometimes this
that's
is
my
where
issue.
every black person comes out.
If
You
you're gonna
know,
make demands, play your part. That's all I'm asking for.
exactly.
If
Like he was making demands without playing his part either. It's like even though I didn't even know I had a part because we weren't
exactly,
dating.
exactly,
We
exactly.
weren't dating, so I don't know what he was asking for. You
Because
know,
I can
And
give you both. I can either be heteronormative or I can be care. I can give you both. But if you're
he can
making
give me
demands,
yeah,
Tyrone.
same.
you know what I mean. Like if you're making demands, baby, like some things need to be met.
Something, darling, something. You know, so it's. I think it's just more so people. I try to look for what are you expecting of me in this moment, and I give you the opposite
Hmm.
because it's like I don't want to live up to I like throwing curveballs. Also, I don't like it when I can see someone in their face they have a written stereotype. They're like when people say, "CD, don't get offended when I ask you this question." It's like, why do you assume I'm going to get mad? Why? I'm more annoyed that you assumed I was going to get mad. Now I'm mad. Fight me.
Let me
But
ask you
yeah,
something. They're just like, let me ask you something homophobic real quick.
they're like, CD, don't
Right.
get offended, but like, why can't white people do voodoo? I was like, I never said that. So, well, why can't I was like, I will block you, sir.
Yo. You guys got anything else y'all want to say? Nari or okay. So we came up on an hour, so I think we're gonna like be signing off soon. What you want to say, Santos?
Okay, so I feel like how Gen Z is very, very different from, any other generation. I feel like our job is to, you know, cut the cord, cut the bullshit of
Yeah, honestly.
having, if we ever have kids in the future, because I do have a child, and sometimes people look at me and say, "Oh, I already imagine how your child's gonna be." I'm like, huh? This child's only 2 years old. How you already know what he's gonna be? So it's a lot of people that think they see their kids as, oh, their trophy, like, oh, this is mine, so they have to be a certain way. You cannot have a child in this world and expect them to be your way. They're gonna have their
My way.
personality, and they're
Right.
gonna grow
With lately.
to whoever they want to be. And that's a lot of people. I have to talk to them about that because I'm a teacher, and I talk to kids, and I'd say, you want to be whatever you want to be. You know what I mean? And our job as this generation is to get that going, because I've seen gay people say, well, my kid is not going to be like that. I have experienced that, having a conversation with parents that have their gay parents that have kids and they don't want them to be gay, or they don't see them. I'm like, I just don't make sense. You know what I mean? And I feel like our job as, you know, knowledgeable people and open people that know how it is in this world is to let kids be and let them be who they want to be. Period. That's all I have to say.
Period.
Yeah, that's all. You know.
Okay.
Period, poo.
Well, thank you
I
guys
f-
so much for coming. Like, I think this was like really interesting. Like, it's a lot of stuff that I hadn't heard before. Someone said find a priest to like one of the earlier comments about the like. But yeah, I think it's a lot of
I'm
interesting
sorry.
things
right.
that like I hadn't ever heard before and like that I hadn't known about. So it was cool to like hear all of your like different ideas and perspectives and things. Thank y'all for joining. Oh wait, one other thing. I just remember this. Someone asked what you meant when you said that Christianity wasn't a solid religion.
it's a copycat religion. It's an infant religion. Like the United States is the infant of most of other nations. It's not really. It's like, okay, how can I make this simple? How can I simplify this? I need to
I
give
can
like a
clarify for you. That makes it easier because I'm also a Bible person. All
do
right.
it.
Okay. So
Yeah, same.
Christianity was never supposed to exist. All right.
Yeah.
Because the followers, if you go by this, if you really look at the Bible, the followers of Jesus Christ were just trying to make them into Jewish converts. The first pope was a Jewish person. Christians were never supposed to exist. They were supposed to be Jewish people. And then the conflict came when the people in charge of the church, because again, being Jewish it's an ethno religion. You're born into it, you know. Being Hebrew, it's an ethno religion. So there was conflict over whether you could be born into it or convert into it. A clash there, and that's where the divide happened, right? And because we even there's even different types of Jewish people. Like there's the Messianic Jews. The Messianic Jews are the Jewish people that believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So by definition, they're technically Christians, but Christians don't celebrate Jewish holidays. So it's like, yeah, it's literally just a matter of just like logistics. People who are spending so much time interpreting text. What prophet was this? What prophet was that? Christianity was never supposed to exist. All right. So that's basically if you really read the Bible, it was never supposed to exist.
Fine priest.
Them and Christianity are literally what he just described. Like they're not like, sorry to say it, but they're
Legit.
clones. They're clones. Put it that way. Think of Superman and then think of like Superman's clones. They just don't have the same impact.
Your Catholicism is Christianity. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. They're the same thing. They're
okay. I was like, what? You keep saying
and there's different branches to Christianity too.
Exactly.
So it's
yeah, because you got your Lutheran, you got your Baptist, you got your Pentecostal.
Yep. It's
mostly the reason why that is because let's say someone found something from the Bible they didn't like, so I'm like, I'm gonna ignore that, so I'm gonna create my own church.
And it's like some people pray to Mary, some people don't pray to Mary.
Yeah,
women can't
say whatever they want. Some people don't dance, some people do dance. It's like, okay.
I know my family is Lutheran, and like in the Lutheran church, you're not supposed to catch the Holy Spirit, but like in a non-Pentecostal church, like you're supposed to catch the Holy Spirit and like basically strip and like run around the church.
What the
We're black.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be
they could catch these hands.
Maybe that'll be the next podcast topic. I know that right now Ava's like trying to organize the next one. I forget what she was talking about. It was something about
she's talking about people in the industry, the acting and the whole thing.
Yeah. So acting and like how they treat black actors in the movie industry. So definitely like if any of y'all want to jump in on that, that'll be fun.
Are we gonna be talking about modeling too?
Oh yeah,
probably.
Let's talk about that because
I can talk about the international industry as well.
I can talk about the modeling industry because they are toxic.
Yeah.
I tried modeling and they straight up told me that you look racially ambiguous. We liked you. That's the only reason they like me.
The fuck?
Because I said you can model as a like Arab, and then you can do for like Latinos, and you can do for like black people.
Jesus himself was Jewish, right? Yeah, Jesus was Jewish.
Hebrew. Most specifically Hebrew. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he was Hebrew. Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all again, guys. Y'all are the best. Be safe.
I know I'm the best. Thank you.
Don't die.
Don't tell me what to do.
Hey guys, how's it going? Okay. Yes, that was fun. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm trying to figure out who I should raid or if I should raid anyone right now because this was fun. This was fun. I like the like kind of structure. Is there a set schedule to the podcast? I don't miss anything. LOL. Peace. LOL. Let me see. For a set schedule, whoa. That everything just went crazy on my computer. A second. For a set schedule of the podcast, we try to do it like just like every Sunday basically. Because I feel like
so
y'all
you're into Dragon Ball.
Oh, you into Dragon Balls? I got some.
Give me a second.
Hello.
Uh-huh. But yeah, for a set schedule on the podcast, we try and do it. Wait for a second. Wait for 1 second, guys, before you go. We try and do the podcast every Sunday. We have like different topics every Sunday, and it's basically like a rotating schedule of like a bunch of different black people, and we all come together and like come up with an idea. So like if you like stuff like that, definitely follow and subscribe because we be doing stuff. But yeah, yeah, it's every Sunday, Noble. I don't know if you knew that because like I've tried to like pull you in on a few episodes, but like I don't know. Maybe you've always been busy or something. But yeah, actually, give me a second. I'm just gonna pull up my other computer because this one's like crashing right now. But yeah, it's a fun time. And Suze, you're in the like Discord, so I mean you're in the group chat now, so I'm sure that you'll be fine. Um, I'm going to raid a friend of mine. He's also another like black dude. He he's a TikToker as well, so he like talks about a lot of positivity stuff and he normally does a bunch of like really funny like just random stuff. He's really good at games. You're usually busy Sunday, but sometimes you're free. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. Well, don't worry. I'm sure that like maybe we'll like change it around or something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. All right. Is that everyone who's going to join the raid? I'm always off Sundays. All right, guys. Going to go over to the raid now. Thanks.